Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Timothy here with Jank Diver Gaming. Midnight Hunt is here. We're going to go ahead and do a traditional draft today. Best of one, up to 3 losses or 7 wins, whichever comes first. Super excited to get my hands on this set. This is actually my second draft. My first draft was a green-white Coven deck that went 3-2. It was pretty sloppy, just creatures and not much else to it. Played against a lot of black decks that all had just tons and tons of removal, because for some reason black has like 3 or 4 removal spells at common plus good uncommons. It's a little bit ridiculous, but at any rate, we're still learning the set here. We're going to learn some things together today, and we're just going to see where this draft takes us. So don't yell at me if I pass something that you think is good. Just let me know in the comments why you think it's good and why you should have done something differently than what I end up doing. Hey, and if you agree, then that's good too. At any rate, if you like this sort of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel below for more content like this. And if you're into cubing and you want to come cube on Arena with our community, there are links to our Discord in the description below as well. Let's go and blow some gems here and see what we can get out of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. First impressions, well, I don't know. There were a lot of ways to use decayed zombies to good effect. Morbid Opportunist is busted. Green-White Coven has some insane curve-outs if you can back it up. And that's basically what I got out of my first couple drafts here. Looking at this pack, alright, this immediately has like a ton of cards worth talking about. I'm not going to take the slow land. This card seemed fine, but doesn't have trample, so it's just big. Dawnheart Mentor seems really good at getting you 2 Coven, so I'm leaning towards this, but there's also Rite of Oblivion, which can straight up just kill things, but you have to have things worth sacrifice. And it is a gold card, though, and there's not a lot of mana fix in here. The black cards seem fine down here. Most of the green cards seem pretty good to me. I'm leaning towards, like, Dawnheart Mentor as just a way to get your Coven going. The Coven cards seemed pretty strong to me. Rite of Oblivion, though, is obviously super powerful if you can build around it. I'm going to take the gold card here against my better judgment, even though there's a lot of good commons and uncommons here. This card stands out to me, though. It really does. Let's take Rite of Oblivion. Follow that up with a couple good gold cards. Again, there's not a lot of good ways to splash in this format, so I'm going to be careful about that, although there is a Dawnheart Rejuvenator. There's Devoted Graphkeeper as a 2/1 that mills yourself for 2. It's kind of like your spirit payoff. You can tap creatures down whenever you disturb things from the graveyard or cast spells from the graveyard. Not bad with Rite of Oblivion. There's also Join the Dance, which, again, not bad with Rite of Oblivion. This card seems really good to me. This card seems like a very good follow-up to Rite of Oblivion. And then the rest of the pack seems like a step below the gold cards here, with this being something I'll want if I end up splashing, this being basically a worse version of Rite of Oblivion. Blade Brand's fine. So it's one of these gold cards. Sacrifice a non-land permanent. I think this card is stronger, but I'm going to take the Join the Dance. Feels like green-white bleeds over into black-white a little bit better. Lots of blue going on here. Nothing really stands out to me. I do like Rise of the Ants, though. 6 mana to make 2 3/3s, gain 2 life, and then you can flash it back for 8 mana. There's Harvesttide Sentry, which is probably just okay as a Coven card. The blue cards here seem fine. If I had taken the blue gold card in the previous pack, I would probably take this card. Actually seems pretty decent. And then a lot of blue here. I mean, it's kind of a sign that we should move into blue, since there's a common missing and a rare. I guess that's not really that much of a sign. Let's take Rise of the Ants. Some token generation going on here. Ooh, Flesh Taker. Okay, Flesh Taker's nice, as is Ecstatic Awakener. Novice Occultist also seems really good if you care about sacrificing your own creatures, which we probably will. We're going to take Flesh Taker here. So this is a 2/2. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain a life and scry 1. That by itself is already pretty good. And then it has 1 mana sack a creature to give it +2/+2 until end of turn. Oh, there's Moonrager Slash as well, which is 3 mana for a Lightning Bolt, but it costs 2 less to cast if it was Night. I never actually saw it get to Night in any of my games. Out of 5 matches, it never became Night. Let's take Flesh Taker, though. And it looks like we're going down the route of, like, Basically black-white sacrifice, since black's looking kind of open, but maybe bleeding in the green here as well. Sacrifice and Coven do not overlap very well, so we probably will steer clear of trying to do Coven stuff specifically. But maybe not. Ominous Roost would be another very good follow-up to the Spirit cards. I think this card is awesome. I don't know how good it is. I beat a double Ominous Roost deck very easily. There's Dawnheart Rejuvenator, which, again, we said can help us splash very well. Dryad's Revival seems a little bit too expensive for me to be excited. Lunarch Veteran is not great. He's a card that can sacrifice pretty easily. Oh, I do not want that. Rotten Reunion seems fine as well. Maybe I can wheel one of these, but I'm going to take this Dawnheart Rejuvenator. Considers pretty decent. Hey, maybe I'm underestimating this card. Got a lot of flashback here too, so extra mana is not necessarily the worst. All right, Field of Ruin is kind of useless in my opinion. Eaten Alive is nice though. Shore up a decent removal spell here. I think this Griff is probably good, but I don't know how much we want. 5 drops in a flashback format, and then this is a lifelinker with Coven. It's not even that good if it just already had a lifelink. So we'll take Eaten Alive as a Spark Harvest variant. This is sorcery speed. For some reason I thought it was instant speed. And we'll be on the lookout for more sacrifice fodder here. Blue, 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 blue. I mean, they're telling me to draft blue. The blue is good with the sacrifice stuff because you get things like this that just make zombies. So, that being said, this is not a particularly good green card for this deck. This is not particularly good. More Corrupt Behemoth is gigantic. Maybe we're supposed to just take the Behemoth, continue cutting black here, and send the signal that, hey, you can have blue all you want, just stay out of black. Which means we should get hooked up. I'm not sold on this card, but it does seem okay. Geist Wave is a bounce spell, and if you bounce your own thing, you draw a card. Some, like, subpar red cards here. Might of the Old Ways is really only good if you have Coven. There's also Silverbolt, and this card's fine. It does sacrifice. This is whenever you sacrifice another creature, though. So that's not really that relevant. I might just take the Might of the Old Ways. Yeah, we'll take the Might. I'm not sold on it. All right, we wheeled some stuff here. There's Crossroads Candle Guide, which can help splash, mess up your opponent's graveyard. Ecstatic Awakener, I think, is probably going to be my pick here. And then there's Unruly Mob, which gets bigger as you sacrifice stuff. This card seems pretty sweet, though, if you can get any of the decayed zombie stuff going on. It turns into a 4/4. All right, we wheeled a decent amount of stuff. I think this deck wants the Rotten Reunion, just as a way to make bodies that we can sacrifice for either Ecstatic Awakener, Eaten Alive, More Corrupt Behemoth, Rite of Oblivion, Flesh Taker. We've already got a ton of things that we want to sacrifice. I think this card sucks, by the way. Blue-red spells doesn't seem particularly fleshed out in this format. Blade Brand on the zombie tokens isn't exactly good. I don't want this card in my deck, though. Don't really want any of these. I'll take Blade Brand. It's a fine card. Startle. Wow. Did people not read this card? This is just Lightning Strike. Festival Crasher versus Raise the Effigy. All right. Well, red is open. Wow. Okay. We'll take Lysa. Forgotten Archangel. Just Super Bomb on color rare. 4/5 flying lifelink. You don't really need to read too much else of the card. And then whenever non-token creatures you control die, you just get them back to your hand on the end step. Granted, we have a lot of tokens right now and not non-tokens, but this is just such a gigantic creature that we're going to take it. There's another Dawnheart Mentor, which I think would be solid. Outside of that, there's not too much going on in this pack. It looks like we want to be as close to black-white as possible. So we might end up like not playing Rise of the Ants, but Join the Dance still seems pretty good here. This card is busted though, obviously. It's not even a mythic, just regular rare. It does die to a lot of the removal in the format, though. There's like a 5-mana red instant that deals 5 to a creature and exiles it, and then black has infinite removal spells. White has Banish and Light, things of that nature. Speaking of which, Banish and Light. Beloved Beggar seems actually really sweet for this deck. Evolving Wilds, there's never been a bad format with Evolving Wilds in it. Crawl from the Cellar is good when you have a bomb like this. So we're looking at Banish and Light, Evolving Wilds, or Beloved Beggar. I mean, I really like this card because it's such an easy thing to sacrifice. And then you can bring it back as a Sarah Angel for 6 mana later in the game. I might take that. Is it just wrong to take that over 3 mana removal? I don't think it'll wheel. The cards that I would hope to wheel, Evolving Wilds or Hobbling Zombie. So there's 3 cards here that I'd be happy with wheeling. Outland Liberator. This is like a small Thrashing Bronodon. There's Unruly Mob, another Ecstatic Awakener. Vampire Interloper is less what this deck wants to do, but still a pretty good attacker. We're looking for things that make additional bodies. Unruly Mob does get bigger, though. I don't know. Unruly Mob, 3rd pick. And I don't know that we want multiple Ecstatic Awakeners. We want to stay pretty squarely black-white. This card can sacrifice itself. I don't know. The Interloper deals damage. It's just such a bad blocker for best of 1. I don't know. With more time, I think I would have landed on Unruly Mob there. Bunch of green going on. Ritual of Hope gives your creatures +1/+0, +2/+1 with whatchamacallit. This just cycles and then serves as mana fixin'. I think I'll take Hobbling Zombie out of this pack. I mean, Hound Tamer is a very strong card. 3 mana, 3/3 trample that can throw around counters. Can get +1/+1 when it transforms. But again, sticking to black-white. Hobbling Zombie is pretty good for this deck as a 2/2 that can trade off with anything. Alright, decision-making time. Evolving Wilds versus Grizzly Ghoul. Grizzly Ghoul is a base 4/3 that gets a +1/+1 counter when it enters the battlefield for each creature that died this turn. How's my mana fixing situation looking? Well, it looks like this. So we'd be splashing for fixing right now. That's not where you want to be necessarily. The Grizzly is strong. I'm going to take the Grizzly. Duel for Dominance. Clarion Cathars is decent here. Shady Traveler. This is a 2/3 menace, transforms to a 4/4 menace. Another Dawnheart Rejuvenator. Another Moonrager Slash. People did not read this card. I wonder if the deck just wants Clarion Cathars as 2 bodies in 1. Because we're not going to play this if we're using it to fix our mana. Alright, Clarion Cathars, get in the deck. What is this one? Your opponent discards a card if they lost life this turn. 3/4 flyer for 5 seems okay. Root Coil Creeper. Oh, this card seems strong. Alright. There is Path to the Festival, which is a rampant growth variant that this deck would be, I think, fairly happy to pick up. Diregraph Horde, though, it is another 5-drop. That's the problem. I wonder if this card's just better. But this makes 2 zombies, disrupts your opponent's graveyard. Yeah, this card seems strong. Sacred Fire is nice. Red is open, 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 open. God, there's good red in this pack, too. This is the card I was talking about. Instant speed reduced to ash that also hits your opponent. This card seems okay. I don't think blue-red's going to come together very often, though. Alright, I'm going to take a Sacred Fire. I think this deck just wants another Rotten Reunion, right? Over a 2-mana 3/1. I have plenty of ways to use the bodies. This doesn't even have to exile anything, by the way. Oh, Evolving Wilds wheeled. Perfect. I would like this Hobbling Zombie. This is a good sign that all these black-white cards are wheeling. This card seems pretty good with these kind of top-end creatures, but Evolving Wilds Gets me closer to actually splashing. Go ahead and take Arrogant Outlaw here. I'm not sold on it for this sort of deck. It's more of a black-red card. But got to kill the opponent somehow. Yeah, Jack-o'-lantern, I'm hoping not to play this, but it can fix mana and it's fairly free, right? 2 mana to cantrip and exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, and then you get a one-shot mana fixer out of it. Again, hoping not to play it. Last pick, Rejuvenator. Alright, well, Smoldering Egg is really cool, but we're not going that direction. Another Rite of Oblivion seems awesome. Gavany Silversmith is pretty strong. As a beefed up version of Basri's Acolyte. Easier to cast, but it loses lifelink. It can put the counter on itself. Rite of Oblivion, though, is exactly what we've been building towards with this sort of deck. Like, Rotten Reunion just feels Oblivion. For what it's worth, this is up to 1 target card, so you don't even need targets to just get the zombies rolling. Crossroads Candle Guide would maybe be a better fixer than the Rejuvenator. But I'm not even sure that's true. Let's take another Rite of Oblivion here. Do not like this card very much. It does spit out bodies, but it leaves your creature so vulnerable that I'm just not sold on it. Is there anything else that I care about here? I don't really want even one of these, to be honest. Morning Patrol, 2/3 Vigilance. You can sacrifice it. That's fine. It has Disturb, comes back as a 2/1 Vigilance. And then Search Party Captain. This card seems alright as well. I wonder if I just want to ditch Morkrut Behemoth for another Diregraph Horde. I'm kind of leaning towards that. I mean, this is a big creature. Chaplain of Alms is nice. Good little dude to sacrifice. Novice Occultist is in the same vein there. I think I would rather have the Chaplain first. This is just a little body that you can sacrifice pretty freely. Comes back as a pretty annoying 2/1 flyer. I have no issues sacrificing this to something like Rite of Oblivion. Siege Zombie would be playable, but not great, I believe. Unruly Mob. I wish I had Unruly Mob over Vampire Interloper, to be honest. And then Novice Occultist also seems good. So that's 1, 2, 3 cards that I'd be reasonably happy to wheel. Not like thrilled, but reasonably happy. Might take Morning Patrol here. It's pretty mediocre. I don't want any of these green cards. I don't think I want Crawl from the Cellar. Sun Gold Barrage is a way less necessary when we have double Rite of Oblivion. And I don't want another 5-drop. So yeah, I'll just take Morning Patrol as a curve filler here. Oh, Morbid Opportunist. Okay. Easy pick. This card is busted in half. As a 3-mana 1/3 that can draw you an extra card every turn of the game if creatures are dying. You just attack with a Decayed Zombie, boom, draw a card. Okay, I mean, that's the easiest pick I've ever had in my life. Don't think I'm playing anything out of this pack. I'm not going to play 2 of these. It's unclear whether I even want to play the 2 that I have. My deck's less about this and more about this, although this is a better card. I just don't care about this Ritual Guardian at all. I'm going to go and take the Traveler. I guess we'll stick it here for now. It's a playable card. Duress. This doesn't seem like a Duress format. Flare of Faith. +2/+2 and gives +3/+3 to humans. Gives them indestructible as well. This is a human. I'm going to take it. I'm not playing anything out of this pack. There's a world where I can see that card being in the deck. Geez, Sunrise Cavalier this late. 2/2, Coven, gains flying. I mean, this card is leaps and bounds better, but I'm not going to put red mana in my deck for it. Creature that I could sacrifice. Not a very good one. Maybe we just want 2/2. This is probably better for the deck, actually, than this is. And another Crossroads Candle Guide. Probably play that over a Rejuvenator. I don't know if that's correct or not. And another Diregraph Horde over the Morkrut Behemoth. Okay, Occultist can get in the deck. And I think we're going to cut Interloper at this point. This deck is just very defensive, wants to kill all my opponent's creatures and then win through attrition. At least I'm pretty sure that's what my deck wants to do. So we can cut Shady Traveler here. We can probably cut Rejuvenator, and then that leaves our mana... Like, if I cut Rise from the Ants, or Rise of the Ants, whatever it's called, that leaves the Jack-O-Lantern, the Crossroads, Candle Guide, and the Evolving Wilds as mana fixin' for a Grizzly Ghoul and a Join the Dance. And that's with Join the Dance being a little bit awkward off of a splash, because casting this on turn 2 isn't going to happen, but for what we're using this card for, we don't necessarily need to cast it on turn 2. We're not using this to build out a big board and kill our opponent. We're using this to as sacrifice fodder for like our Flesh Taker, our Rite of Oblivion, our Eat Alive, our Ecstatic Awakener. So I'm thinking I go down here, go down to just one forest. That's 15, 16, 17. Our mana's not great. It's an 8-9 mana base, essentially, with a forest. But we do have two ways to splash. The Jack-O-Lantern... I don't love the Jack-O-Lantern. I'd like to get it out of the deck. Clarion Cathar. This is, like, somewhere between a 3 and a 4 drop for us. Could probably cut anything that just isn't super on theme. This is a vanilla 3-2 most of the time, because we're trying to sacrifice our opponent out of the game, not necessarily kill him with combat damage. This card seems a little weak, but fits what we want to do. Blade Brand. Is Blade Brand good here? It's not particularly good with Decayed Zombies, because your opponent's already incentivized to not really block them, so what's the point? It is kind of okay with some of the little dorky creatures that we have, though. It doesn't actually look particularly strong, though, all things being said and done. It's nice with Opportunist. It's nice with Search Party Captain. It's nice with Chaplain of Alms. It also cantrips, but it is a little on the weaker side. As far as removal goes, we have Borrowed Time, we have Eaten Alive, we have double Rite of Oblivion. And Rite of Oblivion's Flashback is an additional removal spell. So I think we're looking okay on removal. I'm not in love with the Jack-O-Lantern. Not even sure if I need to splash for the Grizzly Ghoul, but the Join the Dance seems worth it. And the Ghoul seems like it can come down as a 6/5 a decent amount of the time. So I think we're going to roll with this and just see how it does. Again, this looks like a type of deck that might have made pretty good use out of like Unruly Mobs as our main source of damage, but there's some stuff going on here, and I think I've got plenty of fodder to sacrifice. It's questionable whether like just a straight beater like this is better than a more, basically a toned down card with more synergy. Like, we don't know yet if this is going to be a synergy format or if this is going to be a straight raw power format. Rise of the Ants. This card is good, but I just don't think I can fit it in the deck at double green. And these are being used to splash, so I'm not in love with using these in my deck unless I was going to be base green. So I like what this ended up. I think, you know, we're going to see how the black-white package works out, whether I'm going to have enough things on board to actually take care of my opponents or not, but let's try it out. Black-white sacrifice with a little hint of green in there for some payoffs. It looks like a high synergy deck, and it looks like it's going to be fun to play, so hopefully we get to showcase some stuff going on here. And yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and jump into some matches. So match number 1 coming up. All right, welcome to match number 1. We're here against Buck Chickens. We got Flesh Taker into Morbid Opportunist, assuming we draw land. Do have to Join the Dance that I can't cast for a long time, but we're on the play here. We'll see how it goes. Do I just cast this and make the zombie right away? Not going to attack with it, right? Or do I care that much about my opponent's graveyard? I guess I'll get the zombie on board. And, I mean, we're not going to attack with it, obviously. Because next turn I could play Opportunist and attack, potentially. And I think that's enough for me to attack with it now. And just get the card right away. Unfortunately, Flesh Taker is not going to get the +2/+2. Yeah, we want to draw that for this Crossroads Candle Guide, which can bump us into this Join the Dance. Alright, opponent's got some sort of counter magic up, it looks like, which I could play around if I really wanted to. Yeah, it's like counter a spell, make a decayed zombie. I'm just going to go ahead and attack here. Some other flash creature. There's a 3/2 flash wolf that I could play around by not attacking with my opportunist. Okay, it didn't look like they had much. Yeah, we'll go ahead and run this into a counter spell if that's what they've got. We will not exile a card from my graveyard. Opponent has not done anything yet, which is questionable. Okay, that's a 4/4. That is a 4/4. But what we can do here is play this for 3 mana and attack with Flesh Taker. And if they block, I can just sack those tokens. This is 1 mana, right? Does this tap? No, it doesn't tap. Alright. And shaboom. Okay. I will sack my tokens. I'm also going to draw a card here. Yeah, we'll definitely keep that on top. And I'll sack another token. Oh, I did not want to keep that on top. For some reason, I thought it was going to be the Rite of Oblivion again. Opponent's going to start playing some big guns, I assume. Alright, Candlelit Cavalry is going to hold the fort here for just a minute. Actually, I could go Rotten Reunion plus Rite of Oblivion. That attacks for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's pretty gross, actually. Because this doesn't need a target. Oh, actually, I have a target too. Okay, yeah, this is just going to be kind of disgusting. So we'll eat your Shadow Beast sighting. And then we will exile this, sack in the zombie, which grows the Flesh Taker and draws me a card with the Opportunist. And we will attack for 1,000,000. Put my opponent down to 8 here. Still got a nice little army of cards in hand. Death Bonnet Sprout does start eating my graveyard. Not actually quite yet. It has to transform first, so it's not that good. I think I could probably just afford to attack with everything. They can use whatever trick they've got here. Nebelgast Intruder gives -2/-0. That's fine. So they're gonna kill my Flesh Taker, perhaps? That is okay. I will draw from the Morbid Opportunist, though. Yeah, we'll just let this happen here. So I forgot about that flash creature. The result is pretty much the same. I'm going to play a Diregraph Horde, which puts 2 bodies on board and then can exile 2 graveyards, or 2 cards from graveyards. Okay, opponent's got some more interaction up. That's fine. This is sorcery. So I'm wondering if I just play this first. Attack with these things, and then if they die, that's fine. I can attack with everything. If they counter it, make a zombie, that's okay. A lot of things that can happen here are okay. If I go attack, 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 I'm just going to play this first. We'll just jam. Gonna lose some zombies, but that's okay. Forces the action here. Doesn't feel like they've had too much going on. And they do not. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we definitely saw the sacrifice stuff come together there already, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. Card quality is high. Opponent didn't do anything for the first 3 turns of the game, though. So I don't know how much stock we want to put in that match there. Also, I'm cutting out a lot of this stuff, but man, Arena is just not having it on day 1 today. Sorry, Arena. All right, we're back on the play against... we are going to curve Novice Occultist into Morbid Opportunist and then hopefully draw white by then for these cards. I think this is a keep. It's missing basically 2 colors, but it can draw some extra cards. Lunarg Veteran, this is the one that gains life. All right, we did draw the white mana, which is nice. So this is going to gain him a decent amount of life. Then it's going to come back and do it again. Let's see what flavor of white they are here. Okay, Gavany Tapper. 2 mana to tap. Perfectly fine. Flesh Taker as our draw here. I think I want to play the Morbid Opportunist. Use my mana, and then next turn maybe go like Flesh Taker, Eaten Alive. This exiles as well, which is really nice. And we will pass. So this is 2 mana to tap a creature. It is 0/2, which seems weak, but when you think about Coven, it's got a little bit of a extra bonus there. Yeah. All right, let's go to combat first and see if they want to use this tapper. Good. Make them use their mana. That does actually get me an attack in here too, does it not? Pow, take 1. Still don't feel like I need to kill any of their creatures here necessarily. None of these are particularly threatening, so I'll play the Flesh Taker, I think, and just pass the turn. Yeah, it's probably better to just use the 4 mana card to play this. I'm not getting a card out of their graveyard, but that's okay. These both exile as well if I really care about the disturb cards. 3/4 on this board is actually fairly gnarly. Alright, black-white. You're up. Black unlocks tons of removal. Odric's Outrider is a very strong card. Whenever another creature or it dies, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. We are going to kill it, though. So I wonder if I play this and use it right away. I think what I'm actually going to do is play Flesh Taker... I can actually play all 3 of these. The fact that this gets a counter is really nice. Sacrifice a creature or pay by. So we'll do this first, and then we will Eaten Alive. We'll sack a creature. We will exile your Outrider. Sack the Occultist, which will trigger the Flesh Taker and the Morbid Opportunist. That can stay on top. That seems really strong with my board. Draw it. Draw another card, exile that, and attack. And I can just attack with this because this can just block here, so. Alright. Probably should attack with both there in case they want to soak up the damage with the Veteran, but then that blocks that, so that's just nonsense. Ecstatic Awakener, go. This is almost like a combat trick with some of these cards. This is not a sorcery speed activation, so I could do this. Alright. Draw me a card, yikes. God, this card is messed up at uncommon. Who did that? Who made this an uncommon? The tappers are going to be annoying. They are going to be annoying. But if they tap, I'm still getting in damage. So I go this into this turn. All right, let's make them tap some dudes. I guess they can only tap 1 this turn. If they ever chump block with this Lunarg Veteran, I draw a card. All right, and so we will play... Look at that. Look how it's trying to tap my mana. Look at that. We'll play Lunarg Veteran first, so we can gain some life into Hobblin' Gombly. 2/2 Death Touch dies into a 2/2 Decayed. I guess if we always draw these 2 cards together, our deck looks pretty good. But they can't really invest tons of mana into this Gavany Trapper. Oh, did they get all 3 modes off Sunset Revelry? That's awesome. gain a bunch of life. Novice Occultist on board. Alright, they're staying alive. Candle Trap on my Flesh Taker. Okay. They have 0s and 1s on board. I only have 1 mana here. They also really actually don't have that much power on board themselves. So I attack with this. They trade 2 creatures for it. That's okay. I can attack with this. Can't attack with Flesh Taker. Can attack with the 3/4 and they go like block, block, block. They would have to block with all 4 of their creatures and I could just eat the 3 I don't care about very much. So I think we attack like this here. They're staying alive. They've got a lot of blockers and stuff like that, but I've got just a very good hand. And I can eat this out of the graveyard with like Rotten Reunion here. Do we want them to draw a card and lose a life? I think that's okay. Just get this off the board. 1 less blocker. We will let your veteran die here. That's okay. So I get replaced here. I draw from more. I'm even forgetting about the Morbid Opportunist here. That's perfect. So now I can play the Diregraph Horde instead and just eat that out of the graveyard. So eat this and we'll eat your other creature. There is a white sweeper in the format, which doesn't seem like my opponent has it. They do have Coven now. Did that matter for something? Did Coven matter for... Oh, the Candle Trap, sure. This is beginning of combat on your turn. Do we need to exile anything yet? Because I think my zombies can just get in there. I think this can attack. My Candle Crossroad thing can attack. My zombies will all die. I guess I can leave a zombie back, right? They're not going to block with Unruly Mob. It's whenever another creature you control. So I can actually just send in 1 of these a turn to always guarantee that I have another one. Attack like this, maybe? Okay. That makes sense. And that was the only block. So I'm going to lose my Candle Guide. They're going to take a pretty big chunk, like 7 here. Their Unruly Mob's going to get a little bit bigger. It's fine. It does give them the Coven, though, so I think I'm going to just get rid of their Unruly Mob now, right? That can go bottom. I don't think I want to draw any more lands. Flesh Taker's just giving me value. Yeah, oh, for sure, we're going to do that. So this is still just good to have on board, so I'm actually wondering if I Rite of Oblivion like this thing. I could go Chaplain of Alms, Rite of Oblivion. Could also just Rotten Reunion. Why don't we do this just to get another blocker on board? So I'm going to exile this. I'm going to sacrifice this. Scry and gain a life. That can stay on top. And then replay this from the graveyard. Oh, this was only 2 mana. I was thinking it was the 4 mana from this one. At some point, we might need to actually get rid of these tappers. I don't think we have to do that yet. Probably go ahead and use this now. Let's just eat creatures. Another Rite of Oblivion. So I can play Chaplain. I can Rite of Oblivion it immediately. That's 1, 2, 3. I don't have enough white mana to make that matter. Get rid of this. Attack for 3, 4. I wonder if I just want to start getting rid of these tappers because I don't care about these creatures on the ground. I just have 3 more exiles in hand. It's so hard to go wrong here, I think. I think we attack first. If this just trades naturally, that's okay. Then I can use my Rite of Oblivions to get rid of these things. So I think I'm just going to attack like this. Yep. As expected, we will trade for the 3/3. I will draw a card. It is a Plains. So now things are just a little bit different. I can actually play this and use the Rite of Oblivion in my graveyard so my opponent doesn't really know about it. Get rid of one of these tappers, sack the Chaplain of Alms. Sack a Decayed Zombie. I'll sack the Chaplain. Yeah, well, yes, it can stay on board. I mean, that's almost perfect because then I can sacrifice Flesh Taker and it'll go back to my hand. Yeah, I think this game is over. It's going to take me a couple more minutes, though. Sure. Why'd they do that? Okay, they're just conceding. Yeah, I mean, that was a grindy match, but we were ahead the whole game there. Sacrifice synergies are looking strong, not gonna lie, looking strong. All right, back for match number 3. Not on the play this time, and not with the sick curve out. 4/3 trample into 4/5 flying lifelink looks like what we're doing here. This is probably gonna grab Forest. That does set me up to cast both of the cards in my hand. So keeping, hopefully borrowed time. Well, aptly named. Gives me some time to get to my big game-winning cards here. Definite Forest here. And ship it. Again, never been a bad format with Evolving Wilds in it. Name one. Name one. Alright, that's a card that exists, I suppose. Let's go and play Plains here and just pass the turn. Obviously, this you want to set up a little bit more, so I'm much more likely to play this. Try to set up an attack and then play this afterwards. Opponent is not Coven Curve out here. Pestilent Wolf, 3 mana to give it +2/+2. There's a Rite of Oblivion. This time we don't have a lot of the sacrifice stuff, so the question is, am I actually going to use Borrowed Time on something? Single green mana, don't know the tricks. I think I would rather just get rid of this one than the potential flyer. Not sure if that's correct or not, but keeping them off creatures seems important, and not wasting my mana here seems important as well. So I will get rid of the Pestilent Wolf. And ship it back. Next turn, probably play Clarion Cathars. I think this is a functional reprint of a card from Ikoria. Can't remember, Dawnbreak Chaplain or Champion or something. Huh. Maybe a very reactive hand from the opponent. Alright, Cathars, you're up. Make me a 1/1. Opponent has something they can do at instant speed. Alright, Cathar Commando. Nice. So, can sacrifice this to destroy an artifact or enchantment, which is an on-demand way to destroy this borrowed time. They're probably going to get this to start Covenant off here. Feel a little bit safe knowing that I have Rite of Oblivion. Alright, no attack though. So if I go attack with Cathars, they go block, sack, get back Pestilent Wolf, and then I play Grizzly Ghoul as a big creature. Could also just play the Angel, right? Green does not have a lot of removal. There's some fight spells. But white has Borrowed Time. It has Destroy Creature Toughness 4 or greater. I think I would rather play the Ghoul before I play the Angel. And that also sets me up for next turn, playing the Angel, sacrificing this to Rite of Oblivion and getting it back into my hand. So I think we are going to go for the Ghoul play. I'm going to attack with the 3/3 here. And hopefully they do the Cathar Commando block. If they just trade off, that's cool too. Okay, just trade in. That is okay. Let's go ahead and play a 6/5. And this should prompt them to use removal if they've got it. Trample as well. Never been a huge fan of like the morbid theme stuff they've been doing in these last couple sets, but when you have the decayed zombies floating around, it seems like it's a lot easier. All right, there's the Sun Gold Barrage we were talking about. 2/2 gets in there. Oh, that's actually even better than playing Laisa, I think. So we go... Let's play this first. They still have something they can do at instant speed, it looks like. Go ahead and attack. And let's pass turn. So this is not instant speed, or I'm sorry, this is not sorcery only, so I can block and activate it. Again, if they have some sort of pump or trick, that's going to prompt them to use it. But you will still draw the card. So this replaces itself. Enduring Angel, that is a strong one. I do have an answer for it, thankfully. Alright, so now I'm not going to do that because I want to use this token to get rid of this card. Which I'm going to do. Actually, and the way I'm going to do that, I think, is by playing Laisa, and then sacrificing my Ecstatic Awakener, so that it'll go back to my hand at the end of the turn, and I still have my 1/1 on board. Makes sense, yeah? No box. Or rather, no attacks. You can read this card if you want to. Basically, it's just a giant flyer. Alright. My enormous flyer won the game. Good job, good job. Alright, welcome back. Match number 4. This is the first hand that looks just like not great to me. A Plains goes a long way here. The Jack-o'-lantern can help fix the Ghoul. Ecstatic Awakener on turn 1 with no way to transform it is fine. This does cantrip, though. So I think I'm going to keep it. Off the back of mostly just having an extra draw here on turn 2 if I need it. Opponent's taking a mulligan. Brep. See what you got, Brep. Go Awakener. Go Awakener. I think this is probably one of the weaker cards in my deck, but it is a little synergistic. Silver Bolt. Sacrifice to deal 3 damage. If it deals damage to a werewolf, destroy it. Evolving Wilds is nice. I suppose I can just get this out there, right? Just put it on the board. This is going to go get a Plains. It's just more important that I cast the majority of cards in my deck that need white mana than to get this green mana for the Ghoul. Alright, let's get in my 1 damage here. Let's play the Jack-o'-lantern and pass. In case you're wondering, this is from the graveyard. So you get to use the first ability, draw a card, and then this fixes your mana once. Lambholt Harrier, 2 mana, 2/2, 4 mana, target creature can't block this turn. Okay. Fair enough. I don't think that's enough for me to use Borrowed Time. I'm going to play a 2/3 Vigilance, though. And just pass the turn. Is this specifically a werewolf, not just a wolf? Yeah. I mean, it's a Silver Bolt. It makes sense. Green-red. All right, this is a new one that I'm curious about because green-red has traditionally been pretty strong. Make them use the Silver Bolt now, or else I can untap and do some Ecstatic Awakener stuff. This card comes back from the graveyard for 4 mana. Okay. Okay, I see you, opponent, not using your mana. All right, Morning Patrol. Get in there. Do I just pass the turn, or do I play this 3-4? If I pass the turn and it basically blanks their Silverbolt because I can activate the Awakener, but I could just get a 3-4 on board, and then they can kill my card anyway if they want. So yeah, I'll do that. You may kill my Morning Patrol if you want. I will not exile a card from my graveyard. And let's see if they deem this patrol worthy enough to kill. Cannot kill my Jack-o'-lantern. I feel like a Silverbolt should be able to kill this Jack-o'-lantern, though. All right, they actually killed the Awakener. All right. They value the Awakener more than the 2-3 Vigilance, which means they're probably going to play something that can block a 2-3 Vigilance here. I assume. Okay. I mean, I attack into whatever trick they have here. If it's +2/+2, that's pretty bad. I can just use the Jack-o'-lantern now, I think. And maybe not attack. If I attack with this alone and they eat it. Okay. Thank you, Brep. We're going to go ahead and mute you, Brep. It's been real. Yeah, I'm just going to attack with the 2-3. Normally when people do that, they either they have like an obvious play. And they clearly got, well, I guess, I don't know. This is giving them priority regardless, so I can't make an informed decision. I'm going to attack with just the 2-3 Vigilance, because I don't care if that creature dies necessarily. And then I think I'm just going to sack the Jack-o'-lantern. Draw a card. And it was a Cathar. Okay. I'm not going to use Borrowed Time, though. So we'll ship it. You can use whatever instant speed thing you've got going on here, my friend. Okay. Sure. Does that... Oh, right. It's not Wolf Werewolf. It's, here, I'm just not getting blown out by the +2/+2. I'm pretty far ahead, I think. 3-2 Trample turns into a 4-4 Trample. That's certainly a card. I think I want to set myself up with the Cathars this turn. I can attack, play Cathars. They can attack me back if they want. This is not going to transform. Because they could just have a combat trick is the thing. Alright. Okay, they do have a combat trick, but it's not the +2/+2, so it's not that bad, actually. Wooner Friendly, so giving it first strike. That's fine. So now I could play this as a 5-4. That uses the Jack-o'-lantern, which I think is okay. 5-4 is pretty big. Wooner Frenzy is very strong. +X+O, first strike, and trample until end of turn. Just fireball people. Alright, opponent gets in some damage. I will match you with some damage. Apparently this transformed. Oh yeah, they didn't do anything on their turn. So now we go Cathar, and then we'll just go ahead and exile this Harvesttide thing right now. Sacrifice the 1/1. And now we have multiple removal spells. Also switched it back to day, so their Nightbound creatures are not just automatically coming in. I feel no remorse for my opponent because they Yorgoed me, which is just a rude thing to do. So, sorry. We played a fine game of Magic there. Things went back and forth, and I won the match. So, anyway, back to the little spinning worm here. Welcome back. This is match number 5. Ooh, green cards in hand. No way to cast them. Got a 1-drop and a 3-drop. Gonna need to find some way to fix for these, though. Still gonna keep. Doesn't take too much, I think, to make this hand good. Alright, so that probably means the exile a creature from a graveyard. Get a zombie. Not sure what else you can cast. Duress. They would have cast Duress. And chose not to cast it, which makes sense because this card has some implications from the graveyard, so it makes sense to keep your graveyard hate card in hand. Okay, that does fix my mana later on. Right now, I'm just going to attack with this Chaplain. They can't make an instant speed blocker out of a zombie. And I'll just pass turn. Could also be some other 1-mana black spell that I'm just like blanking on, of course. Blue-black is the zombie color pair. Still nothing. I mean, I'll attack. I don't care if they use a trick to kill this. Probably counterspell. There's a 3-mana like mana leak variant. Probably play the Morning Patrol here, I think. Like counter unless you pay 4 and make a decayed zombie. Okay. Kill my Chaplain, exile it, make a 2/2 zombie, I think, is what I'm looking at here, potentially. Okay, so we're just making 2 zombies, perhaps? Just making 1 zombie. Okay. So, keeping this around. I do have 2 disturbed creatures on board, so it makes sense to maybe keep that around. But they want the first one, so some sort of sacrifice effect, perhaps? Okay, that makes sense. They're down this Eaten Alive, though, which is weird, because this could have already gotten rid of that. That being said, I did not draw a land, so let's go ahead and jam here and then play this Hobbling Zombie. Hobbledygook. Hobble on in there, buddy. Alright. We're in 5-drop territory. We've got a Diregraph Horde, very strong card. And we did draw our land, which is nice. So I can Crossroads Candle Guide to go ahead and get this Rotten Reunion out of the graveyard. That's a good card to get rid of. But we cannot attack here. Looks like we're both kind of at parity here. I'm behind on mana. Opponent about on parity on board. Oh, that card is good. So you pay 2 mana, you draw a card, and then it transforms, and now it taps a non-land permanent. That's pretty strong, though. That being said, I think what I'm supposed to do here, get ahead of the card draw and the tapping, play Join the Dance, sacrifice 1, get rid of this 3/4, and just jam for 7 damage. Next turn, I have another Rite of Oblivion at the ready. I've Eaten Alive. Yeah. Because their zombies can't block, remember. Decayed Zambos cannot block. They're going to outcard advantage me pretty hard with a card like this in the long game. So we just start being as aggressive as possible, get their blockers out of the way. If I draw a land next turn, I can even go for the Just the Dance plus the Eaten Alive rather than the Rite of Oblivion. I'm not going to block any of this. I'm ahead on damage. I don't feel like I need to. If they just let that sacrifice, it means they don't really have good ways to use the bodies. But, I mean, that's the thing about these decayed zombies is they can't block, so if you have no way to use them, you might as well just attack with them, right? The Meat Hook Massacre! Card is excellent. And probably enough to win my opponent the game, maybe. They gain life every time a creature dies. Yikes. Yeah, we're in trouble now. So this comes back as a 2/1, just a 2/1, that's it. Could play this zombie bear. Should I get rid of this? I can at some point. I don't think I attack with this yet, though. Might just bring back the 1/1 bodies here. Might have to exile the Meat Hook Massacre with this Rite of Oblivion. Perhaps one of the best cards in the set. Okay. So draw a card, discard a card. That makes a zombie. Decayed zombie. Okay, so here... Yeah, it feels like I really should get rid of this over getting rid of one of these creatures. Alternative here. Yeah, there's just not a good alternative. How much does 2 damage matter? Quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and... Because I could go kill this. Or I could also go just like kill this, attack, play bear. Black has so much just unconditional removal is the problem. Yeah, Eaten Alive, exile this Archivist. Sack and zombie token. Play this as a 5/4. They could tap it down. So play this. This is tough. No, it's my creatures dying that gains them life, which is the thing I care more about here. Ah, man, this is a tough call. It's just like 4 for 1 me this game. Alright. I do think I have to get rid of this is the problem. But I'm not doing anything else this turn is also the problem. I just need to get a body on board. Sacrifice a creature. Get rid of your 3/2. I guess we get rid of the zombie. Get rid of one of these. Choose attackers. Oh, no, I missed out. Okay, I can do this post-combat. It's fine. So they're going to take the 2 here. They're just going to gain one of it back, though, because of the Meat Hook Massacre. And then we're going to go ahead and do this play now. Sacrifice a creature. Exile this. They gain another life. Play 6/5 trample that they can tap down next turn. Also just have removal of their own. Pow. Ecstatic Awakener, not terrible. Alright, let's go to combat and make them do their thing. Tap that down. Sorry, Grizzly. Let's go and get in our 1 damage here. And then probably just play this plus this, right? I have 7 mana. That's 4 or 5, so I don't have enough to activate this, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and play our Morning Apparition. See what they did there with the names. Alright, ship it. I feel like they were holding a kill spell in hand for a small creature. Maybe that's not right. The Tome draws them a card. Jeez. The Massacre is so brutal. Shady Traveler. Okay. It is day now. I wonder if that matters for anything. Swamp, not what I wanted to draw. So this block's here. This block's here. Just gotta play into whatever tricks they have. Get this out of the way. Don't need to use this yet. I could get rid of this. I don't like that it feels like they have something in their hand too. Yep, so they're going to make me do this. I'm going to go ahead and sack this human. They're going to gain a life. And show me your trick. Okay, so they did have the -2/-2. That's fine. And we drew kind of nothing there. Now it's kind of Grizzly versus nothing, and I don't even have something good to sack to this Rite of Oblivion. So I think we might be taking our first loss here. Opponent's actually going to just start beating us down while tapping our creatures down, and yeah, this is brutal. I mean, I think we kind of... There's a lot else going on here, so it's hard to say, but it feels like we almost single-handedly lost to this Mythic here, and that's fine. The Angel, maybe? If we drew the Angel, would be pretty strong. We'll get the top 3, put one of them into your hand, rest into your graveyard. Oh, one into your hand. I didn't realize this drew a card. I'll take my 4. Interesting to not attack with the zombie there. A jack-o'-lantern. Ooh. Well, it's a cantrip. Exile some sort of creature. Probably the fire that makes a dude. Drew a Rotten Reunion, which is actually not bad. So I'm going to make them use their tap. Is it 1 mana to tap? Yeah. Okay, tap that down. That resolves. And now we will exile your Hobbling Zombie. Olivia's Midnight Ambush. Okay. And that gave -13, -13. Yeah, I think this game is over. Again, could draw the Angel, I think is the only way out of it. Go and play it out here for another minute. Alright, they're going to get in the extra 2 damage here. That makes sense. Put me down to 4. Put me down to 3. What a messed up card. Blood Tithe Collector. I have no cards in my graveyard. Alright, and now drawing a blocker doesn't even do the trick because they can tap it down. So we'll just see what our draw is here. And it's a Plains. Let's give him the GG. Or not give him the GG, I suppose. Okay, Meat Hook Massacre got us pretty well there. I don't think we're supposed to ever play around that card in best of 1. But sometimes you lose to the Bomby Mythics. Card seems very strong. Alright, welcome back. We are here for, I think this is match number 6. We're 4-1 on the draw. We have the Chaplain into hopefully an early Search Party Captain. We've got our 2 main colors. Hand seems perfectly fine. Got a Borrowed Time. Eaten Alive is a decent draw. It's not great, but it's decent. Obviously, we would like to spike a 2-drop here. This deck looked way more busted when we curved everything into busted creatures. Vampire Interloper actually scares me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Not enough that I'm going to exile it, I don't think. Because I want to be able to play this next turn. It does set up a lot of what the black-red decks look like they can do. Because it's just an early way to make sure you're getting in damage. And the red-black deck cares that you're dealing damage to the opponent. Shady Traveler. Question is, does my opponent block here? And if they do, how bad is it for me? It's pretty bad. They're not going to block though, right? My 1/1 first striker into their 2/3. Alright, we get to chip that damage and go search party captain here. Which is probably still just the best thing to play. I'm going to start taking some damage though. This is 4 that I can't block. This is 2/3 menace. I do have removal though if I absolutely need to start killing stuff. And Evolving Wilds means I'm not getting that 4-drop vampire hitting me here. Take some damage. Small chance they just pass turn to flip the Traveler. Okay. That is what they did. So it probably makes it more likely that I'm supposed to double spell this turn. And perhaps the best way to do that, I can attack first. This could come down to a race. So here I could just go Jack-o'-lantern and then Rotten Reunion. Feels like I should probably kill something though, right? Because if I just play this, it stays night, which is problematic for this Predator. Borrowed Time seems a little better than other stuff. So I think I go Jack-o'-lantern, Reunion, Eaten Alive, and just exile this. Maybe exile the Interloper. Definitely going to play the Jack-o'-lantern, though. Okay, Jack-o'-lantern sitting on board, and then we'll go ahead and play Rotten Reunion. We will target nothing, make a zombie. I don't know, maybe it was better to use Borrowed Time this turn because this is also going to deal with a problematic threat. And this uses more of my mana. Let's go ahead and get rid of this 4/4. Sack the Decayed Zombie. Alright, Stalking Predator's gone. It's going to change back to day here. Opponent cracks their Evolving Wilds, presumably does some other stuff. I am losing the race right now. And it feels like if my opponent played Evolving Wilds there, that they're on all spells in hand. They've got something to cast end of turn. Blade Brand, just a cantrip. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. Yeah, so it was probably better to use Borrowed Time last turn, because then this turn I could play Cathars plus Eaten Alive. Purifying Dragon is going to eat this Borrowed Time, though. Kapow. And just cycle the Jack-o'-lantern now, too, right? Ooh, hello. Ooh, hello. So, Borrowed Time here, attack for 3, Rotten Reunion on end step, I think is the name of the game. Get rid of this Durgan. Even out the race a little bit. Pow. Kaplow. Pass turn. So I'm not worried to die into any big creatures that don't have haste because of these. I'm worried to die into like a flurry of smaller creatures. 3 cards in hand from opponent. Life totals are equal. Opponent is currently winning the race. Guess that's not even 100% true. Vampire Socialite. pretty good one. Each other vampire. Fangblade Brigand. Alright, let's go ahead and make a Zambo. Alright, Swamp's good. So now we can go Cathar plus a Rite of Oblivion. Probably getting rid of the Interloper. Could also go Rite plus Rite. I don't have that many things to sacrifice to it. Alright, let's go Cathar here. Let's go Rite of Oblivion. Just get rid of the Interloper now. It's the thing dealing damage. I got this. Can also threaten some damage, but I can chump this for a turn. Alright, Interloper. Let's exile. The Decayed Zombie is probably less important here. Maybe the Chaplain of Alms is worth sacrificing over something like this. I will sack the Chaplain, actually. And we're just going to have to pass here. Gonna chump block this thing with a human, I think. And they have to deal damage for me for their zombies to, or their vampires to actually get counters. Yep. Go human token. Our Lunar Frenzy is still a very powerful card I gotta watch out for. That's why I like keeping my life total as high as possible here. Another Interloper, okay. That's not bad. It's not bad. I do think what I want to do this turn is play this Chaplain of Alms. And then use the Rite of Oblivion from my hand to get rid of the 3/4. I can afford to attack with this. This has Menace, right? I can actually just attack with this. Keep a 3/3 back on defense. Okay, I'll attack for 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring you back now. Gives all of my creatures Ward 1. And the first strike actually blocks these creatures quite nicely. And if their last card's just like single target removal, I think I'm in pretty good shape. And this is going to go ahead and get rid of the 3/4, sack the Decayed Zombie, and pass the turn. I'm tapped out. Do your worst, opponent. I mean, clearly some sort of instant in hand, right? They go, kill this, I'm on a, I guess, 3-turn clock. Defenestrate, kill that. Okay. That actually, I think this was the right target, because this thing can just first strike off the Interloper. If you kill this, yeah, now they can't attack with the Interloper unless they have a way to pump it or get the Shield Geist out of the way. And they do not. They can attack with Socialite, though. Has Menace. They choose not to. It's very interesting. So I'm just going to attack with this Captain now, right? And if they want to trade for the Socialite, that's perfectly fine. Basically put them in the same exact situation. Might be worth attacking with both of them. And then having lethal on them next turn. Here I can go Hobbling Zombie plus Rite of Oblivion, but I don't think I even need to do that. Am I dead to Lunar Frenzy? No. So I don't believe I'm going to do that. He traded off the Sociolite. Okay. Just waiting to see what opponent does here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and jam with both my creatures now. So now I'm just in the trying to get my opponent dead phase of the game. I'm going to let the Interloper survive here. Hungry for more. Ouch, that's actually really strong. Does that kill me? 6, 7, 8. It does not kill me, but it does gain my opponent 6 life. They chose not to flash it back immediately. Okay. Ooh, that's really nice. That eats that out of the graveyard. Alright, so I might want to get rid of this to not die to something like Lunar Frenzy now. But we are going to 5, 6. I'm not going to have enough to do this plus Rite of Oblivion. So I'll go ahead and leave the Shield Geist back. I will play land, though. I wonder why they did not play the Hungry for More. It's 5 to flash back, right? What are you? Comes in on the Nightbound side. Whenever it becomes blocked, each creature blocking it gets -1/-1 till end of turn. So only when I block it, not blocking on defense. Sure. They block here, they take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're dead on board. Yeah, they're just dead now. Okay, so we get rid of... Actually, do I even need to do that? Block 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? No, because the Interloper can't block. Whenever a creature blocking it dies, that creature's controller loses a life. So again, none of that matters here on offense for me. First strike. Yeah, my opponent not flashing back that Hungry for More that turn. That would have given them an extra turn this game. They would have had the life to survive that attack. I'll take the win, though. Hey, we're not roping. All right, 5-1. Been some pretty grindy but fun games. These have been really fun games from my perspective. We're already net positive here, so let's see if we can get the 7 wins. This will be match number 7 coming up next. See you there. All right, here we are, match number 7. Very awkward hand. Evolving Wild's going to fetch white mana, and we're playing very slowly here. Jack-o'-lantern can cantrip on turn 2. Rotten Reunion can give me a turn 3 Search Party Captain. I'm going to keep this, but I'm not convinced it's actually a keep, if that makes sense. Let's go get Plains. And then looks like we're probably just cycling Jack-o'-lantern on turn 2. Larder Zombie, 1/3 defender, tap 3 creatures. You may mill the top card of your library. You get to look at it first. All right, Swamp is nice. So Swamp lets me still just play Jack-o'-lantern and pass. Probably going to play the Rotten Reunion here. We're not going to be under pressure right away. That's good to know. Defender, right? Yeah. Yep. Red blue, you say. All right, I'm going to play this. I am not going to exile my own card, and I'm probably also not going to attack with this zombie. So it looks like we could cantrip our Jack-o'-lantern now. Blue-red probably cares about its graveyard some amount. But if we were to draw a 2-drop or like Chaplain of Alms, we would want to play it. So I think that's fair. Okay. Well, we will go ahead and pass here. Make probably another zombie. Just get him out there. Alright, opponent represent an instant speed stuff. Hey, there's the chaplain. Now I'm just going to play Search Party Captain. They want to counter this, so be it. Flip the switch, yep. Feel like we're going to play against that card a lot. So make a Decayed Zombie, counter a spell unless its opponent plays 4. Kind of better than most things. Do we play into another counter spell here? They don't have Devious Cover Up or Dissipate, so it would be another Flip the Switch potentially. I think we just try and bleed them of their counter spells. Because this card is so powerful. Hey, look, it's another one. Alright, and now they're going to start using the Larder Zombie. Again, I would rather them be countering those than countering this. They chose to keep that card on top. Gale Drifter's fine. Not super worried about 3/2 flyer here. Could just exile it now as well. I can play my whole hand out, basically. Could play this as well and just hope it sticks. But exiling this seems worthwhile. Red mana, they could have the shock variant here. And they're also getting priority because of this, so not too big of a deal on that one. We'll exile this, and I will sack a Decayed Zombie's got to be better than sacking this, right? Yeah. Scry 1, gain a life. The Morbid Opportunist hasn't come back in a while. I'll bottom lands here, I think. Is this a zombie? Oh, it's just tap 3 untapped creatures. Does not have to be 3 zombies. Wonder if they're like considering shocking their own creature. If they have like plays with fire or whatever it's called to put this in the graveyard. Put a Flame Channeler in the graveyard, so did not want to draw a Flame Channeler. So Larder Zombie is very annoying against Decayed tokens, but I don't think I would be attacking Decayed tokens anyway. That is exactly the reason I'm not playing this Angel yet. Maybe I just play it now. Could Rite of Oblivion. Yeah, probably just play it now. I don't know how many of these they're going to have, but gets around counter magic, makes them find an answer for it. It's enormous. If they do answer it, things are looking a little sketchy, but it's not unlikely they play more than one copy of this card. They milled an island. All right, consider. Basically, better opt. Lets you surveil instead of scry. They kept the card on top, so they like whatever they drew. Is there another common for 4 red mana that can deal with Lyasa? Could be a rare or an uncommon, of course. Alright, drawing more mountains is bad. I can pretty much free roll an attack with the chaplain here, right? Maybe not free roll. I will attack, though. Because it just puts the chaplain back in my hand. I guess it puts it back on end step, which is awkward. I could just put it into play now, though. Am I playing around the burn down the house card? That would suck. Another sweeper. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play Chapel. Chapel Shieldgeist. One thing this does is if they do draw another copy of the 5 mana Burn the Accursed, they'll have to have an additional land as well. Okay, Neonate's Rush just cantrips and kills my flyer. And that makes it much, much, much less likely that they have a, a sweeper if they're using single target removal. Ah! God, like, why? So many things had to go there for that to work the way it did. Am I supposed to be killing Warder Zombie? I don't think I'm supposed to be killing Warder Zombie. We're not going to kill Warder Zombie. It is putting in work for them, though. They had to have another copy. They had to find it in the top half of their cards. They clearly didn't have it, so it just like, oh, it's one of your next couple cards. Seize the Storm, make a 7/7. Okay. Then I talked poorly about this card. Remember that? And then flashback to make another one. Oh, I'm going to exile it. I'm going to get in 3 damage here as well. Guess sack the zombie token, right? Just chilling. I could play this as a flyer. Yeah, that's probably better. Use the larder zombie now. No, they chose not to. Okay. Well, Cathars can get in there. Finally get a little bit of damage going. And then we'll go ahead and play a 1/1 flyer with some largely irrelevant text. Yep. Keep digging through that library. They kept their card on top. Probably that island. This costs 7 to flashback. They have no other flashback cards. Looks like they're trying to rebuy a instant or sorcery, though. Another larder zombie. And another Burn the Accursed. Jeez. Okay. Oh, this is leaves the battlefield, not dies. Alright, well, that's my only source of damage. Oh, that is actually nice to eat that Seize the Storm. It actually attacks pretty well here, too. Let's go ahead and get that out of here. And ship it. Yeah, Morbid Opportunist would be ideal, I think. Because I have this zombie to cantrip with it. I do have another Rite of Oblivion in my deck somewhere. Now, my opponent's just making use of Larder Zombie, and that's about it. Triple Burn the Accursed. Oh, there's the Opportunist. I think we just play it. I can pay for the flip the switch here. And now I'm going to attack with these 3. Opponent's probably going to kill my Morbid Opportunist. It's going to make me a little sad. Yep. Does not trigger on itself. One of their larder zombies will die here, presumably. Arcane Infusion, look at the top 4, reveal an instant or sorcery. Alright, it is a Fireball. And then this has Flashback. Alright, you can kill everything I play for the rest of the game, presumably. Lier. Oh, all of your spells have Flashback. So we need to kill this right now. GG's. I did not draw a removal spell for Lier. Alright, that looked like a really nice showing for the blue-red deck. I mean, they had to have a number of very specific removal spells for my Angel, but That larder zombie also put in quite a bit of work. I wonder if I was supposed to kill that early on. At any rate, that puts us at 5-2, so another loss kicks us out, and I think we have a deck that can go 7 wins, so let's try to do that. Moving on into match number 8. See you there. Okay, we are back with pretty awkward hand. The jack-o'-lantern is only fixing once. I'm gonna keep. I have faith. We're against just faked. Oh, we put the candles out. Alright, Chaplain of Alms, get in there. I wouldn't say this card has looked impressive, but it has been nice, specifically with the sacrifice energies. Okay, very awkward. We're probably, we're definitely just cantrip and jack-o'-lantern here. I don't have to do that at sorcery speed, though, because I can't play any of the cards that I would draw off of it. Green-black. Novice Occultist. Alright, Plains is better than no land, I suppose. But not good. Definitely not good. We can use the jack-o'-lantern here, though. And maybe play the Flesh Taker, which can scry towards getting me black mana. Assuming that's what we end up needing to do. I prefer not to. If they attack with Novice Occultist, am I blocking? Like Blade Brand. Bird Admirer. Okay. Do I sack this Chaplain here is the question. This turns into a 3/5 if I don't cast any spells next turn. I have faith. Alright, well, shouldn't have had faith. I can attack with Flesh Taker. They just get to free roll their Bird Admirer. They get to block with this as well if that's what they want to do. I'll go and attack. If they want to block with the Occultist, that's okay. Now the problem is if they play any more Nightbound creatures, they're going to come already flipped, which is a problem with the werewolves. So I wasn't able to cast a spell, so it punishes me even more for not being able to cast spells. But we also, it's not like I didn't keep a risky hand or something, of course. Alright, so that's going to come in already transformed, which is very problematic. We can transform it back if we can double spell, of course. Opponent didn't attack with their 3/5. Oh, I guess they were worried about the Chaplain getting a trick on it. I do think I need to sack here, though, to scry. Borrowed Time exiles this, but I think I need black mana more than I need removal. Jesus. Okay. Well, I think this game is over. Our run is over. We got mana screwed finally in round 8. Opponent's playing very conservatively, which helps, but doesn't help me because I need to draw multiple things to get out of this. And opponent's just continuing to put things on board. There's Swamp. I cannot double spell, though, so I can't transform back these werewolves. I'm going to continue to play, though. This costs 4 mana? Yeah. Well, this gives -1/-1 if I block it. I think my best bet is just to use my 4 mana spell here and cast this Cathar. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And ship it. And in order to, I think, still be in the game, I need to draw Swamp next turn. I guess any 5th mana gives me this, but my opponent hasn't even played a removal spell yet. Okay, that's fine. This card is so good when it hits. It's so brutal. They go removal into removal. Why are they not attacking with these other creatures? Did they not read the ability on this card? I'm not going to block. This is going to trigger their Stromkirk Blood Thief. Eaten alive, huh? Another black spell, huh? Yikes. Go opportunist. They crack their clue, presumably. I feel like I would already be dead if my opponent wasn't playing so scared of stuff. I don't even know what they're scared of, really. Okay. All right, they made a block. Okay. Really? What? All right, so I can block and just take a point of damage, right? That triggers my opportunist, draws me a card. I will lose a life. And do they gain a life? I just lose a life. Search party captain. Not the card I wanted to see. I did lose life as well, so this is going to get bigger. I have the removal to deal with the threats. That's not quite it. Man, this game does not like me right now. The only thing keeping me alive is my opponent's just kind of doing weird stuff. So, I have some bad options here. I can't get this down to 4 mana. My best bet, I think, is to just cast this and hope I spike Swamp off the top. And if I do, I can cast Eaten Alive, which will transform these back. I can get rid of one of these creatures. I'm going to go for it. I think I need the high upside play here. Ah! Get out of here, game. Even 5th land, it doesn't even matter. I mean, non-evolving wilds, of course, but... Jeez. My opponent's giving me all the time in the world playing the way they're playing, and I just can't get in there. Do I take 5 here, or do I chump with my search party captain? This is 8. I can double block here. Take 5 down to 7. They kill one of these. I mean, I'm not playing around anything they have in their hand. All right, we drew 5th land. Okay, now we drew 5th land. Another Broodweaver. Big thing. All right, Swamp's more important here. So I have options now. I'm definitely playing Swamp. I could play this as just giant stabilizing creature. I don't think my opponent has removal in hand. I can also double spell here, which is very important. So I could play Candle Guide thing, and then Eaten Alive, sack this to exile this, transform this back. And then it's these 4 creatures versus this and this. Feels like the Angel might be my next bet, but best bet. But that's not even true. All right, let's go Candle Thingy. Let's just exile your creature. And then Eaten Alive. Unfortunately, I have to sack my 2/2. It does draw me a card. Let's exile the Stromkirk Blood Chief. Join the dance. Alright, and hopefully we survive through this next turn. So on the front side, this just gives blockers -1/-1, which still relevant. Still very relevant. Okay. Well, I'll die to whatever giant growth variant there is here, but I'm just going to block these spiders. And go down to 3. Nothing? What's happening? Alright, this feels like the best stabilizing card for me to play here. They did transform the Marauder back, notably. It's got to be right to go like Angel plus this, flip their thing back, right? They've shown they don't have removal spells. Maybe they're missing a color somehow. Let's make sure Angel's fine here first. They got something they can do at instant speed. Maybe I wanted to play a little more conservatively. All right. Pass back. Plummet my Angel. Nice. Okay. And then 3-2 reach, sure. Am I dead? Block, block. I'm dead if they attack with... Ah, God. Yeah, I should have played Join the Dance. That just gives me enough blockers to not die even through removal. I could have played more blockers this turn. I shouldn't have played the Angel. I don't know that I was playing around Plummet specifically, but the Mana Screw just got us there. My opponent, I think, had us dead way earlier, gave us all the time in the world, and we just couldn't draw the lands to get out of it. This deck felt cool, though. I think it could have gotten 7 wins with slightly better things. You know, we lost a match to the Meat Hook Massacre. The blue-red deck, the blue-red spells deck was very good. That last deck, I think, we win that matchup so often, especially considering how my opponent was playing, but we did not win that matchup, mostly off the back of just the Mana Screw. We kept a 2-lander with like double planes, though, and drew pretty poorly. That's what happens when you do that sometimes. But yeah, this deck felt really sweet. It really popped off in the early matches and then slowed down a little bit, but it was also very mana hungry. Did I learn things? Yeah, I learned that this is a real deck, that there's very good removal in the format, like a lot of unconditional removal. And it's kind of annoying that that's the case, but also when you're the person who needs to kill your opponent's thing, it's nice that the removal's more unconditional. We'll be playing a lot more of the format, getting a feel of, you know, what decks work and what don't, but I like this. This felt pretty sweet. You know, when I drew my lands, it felt like I was creating an actual engine. This card stood out to me as just absolutely busted as an uncommon, so I would keep your eye on that. The rest of it felt like just good synergy pieces, and I was happy with how it played out, even if I think I could have snuck that last win in there. But at any rate, that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Hope you had fun just chilling, hanging out. My name's Timothy with Jank Diver Gaming. Come join us for a cube draft sometime, Wednesday or Sunday night. There's links to our Discord down below where you can get a description of the details of those events. So thanks for hanging out. I'm going to see you guys next time.